Roxanne Glosser, Content Director and Doodler here at Whirly-Derb, and I've put together a series of videos to help you finish out your scarecrow illustrations. So we've done sunflowers, we've drawn barns, we've drawn corn stalks, fall leaves, and we need to learn how to draw our pumpkins. So pumpkins are a big part of the fall, and we'll be drawing pumpkins this month. We'll turn them into jack-o'-lanterns next month for Halloween. So let's get started. I'm so excited about our pumpkins. And yes, look at this pumpkin patch behind me. And as I said, what is a scarecrow without a pumpkin? Seems like we see lots of pumpkins near scarecrows. So this would be a great addition to your scarecrow picture. All right, so before we get started drawing, remember we always have to learn how to look. Now this is not a pumpkin, that one's a pomegranate there, but I want you to look at this pumpkin because we're going to be using a special kind of line today called contour lines. Contour lines, it sounds like a big grown-up word. All it means is curved lines because our pumpkin here is kind of a circle shape, but we know it's really a sphere because it's three-dimensional. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to put we're going to put a stem on it where it would be attached to the vine. And then the trick is going to be in these contour lines. So we're going to start up here at the top and notice how they curve down. They're closer together up here. They get further apart. And they curve differently. See, this line here is almost straight going down. But the further they go out, the more they curve. So I want you to think about that because it's tricky. You have to draw lots of pumpkins before you get the hang of it. Now, the other thing that's cool about pumpkins, they're not just orange. Look at this one down here. We got a little green in it. You can see those contour lines again. These up here even look bumpy. Now, I'm not going to get into texture today, but check this out. We are going to be using contour lines, and we're going to do a little shading to give your pumpkin a little bit of pop to it. So let's see. I think I've got a preview of what we're going to be doing today. Yes, we're going to draw 3 pumpkins, and we're also going to do a little overlapping. So if you're not into the overlapping, see how I've got this one looks like it's in front, and then this one over here is a little bit behind the first one, and this one is way back in the middle. If you don't want to do that, just draw a pumpkin, scoot over and draw another pumpkin, scoot over and draw a third pumpkin. You don't have to get into the overlapping if you don't want to. So here we go. Let me get off the picture and let's get started. As always, this is a little quarter sheet of paper. It's not a full sheet. So if you do have a full sheet, go ahead and maybe fold it so that you don't have that full sheet there because we want to learn to draw our pumpkin. It's kind of small. It's easier to learn that way. All right, first thing that we're going to do is we are going to draw a kind of circle shape here, and you can do it in the middle of your paper or over to the side. I'm going to do mine kind of here in the middle. Okay, so I've got a nice kind of a round shape there. And then what I'm going to do, if you want to do another one to the side, you may. If you want to have your pumpkins kind of overlap, I'm going to do another circle. It's going to move up here, and he's going to come around here, kind of be flat on the edge there. And then I'm going to do one little hump back here. All right? So I've got a circle, got another one little tuck back here, and a circle up there. And if you are drawing in pencil for your first time, if you want to clean up a few of those lines, that is fine by me. Don't want you erasing the whole thing. Just keep practicing drawing those. Now, we are going to add in the stem. Remember how that little piece that comes out of the top of your pumpkin looks? These over here I did are kind of like a triangle shape. If you want yours to be more of like a rectangle, you can do that. If you want it to be kind of a rectangle shape like that. Let me zoom in so you can see that. But you want it to come down onto your pumpkin. So this one over here, I'm going to make it kind of stick out this way. And there's kind of my little stem. So he's sticking that way. And this one can go up here. So I'll make one that's a little more of a triangle. So there we have our 3 pumpkins. Now, let me make sure that you've got this going on. So here's my stem. Got a little stem here. This one's a little more triangular shape. And remember, we've got a circle there. And notice, see, that stem goes down and that line actually tucks up behind it. And here's one over here. And then we got one more line that goes up here. So those are our 3 pumpkins. Now we're going to add the contour lines. Remember, the contour lines are those curved lines that make our pumpkins look like they are 3-dimensional. And kind of what I've noticed is these down here, the first ones are going to be a little straighter. So I kind of like to do those in. So there's one, it's a little bit curved. Kind of do the other one a little bit curved. And then just scoot over, make one a little more curved there. And then just do one more on this other side and make it super curved there. And the same thing back here. We'll put a few little contour lines from there. And then we're also going to do our contour lines on this one. And so those are going to be your contour lines. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and add those little contour lines. You can see them curving around. And right now, yes, I'm like, oh, I don't know about this little pumpkin. So what I'm going to do is let's put a little horizon line behind them. Oh, I'm going to put a little vine that comes off of them. A little. If you wanted to put little leaves on it, you could. Little details there. All right, so let's get into, we're going to color these pumpkins. And what we're going to do to make them look more pumpkin-y, we're going to use a light orange. We're going to come in with some darker red orange. And we're going to be alternating. So you see, it's not the entire thing that's going to be dark. It's going to be right around that line. And then we're going to do a little shadow off of it, a little shading on the pumpkin. So we're actually doing a little bit of 3D here. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take, I need a light, a medium, and a dark. So here's our first one. There's our light. I like that. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, nice. I think that's going to blend really well. And then I'm going to bring that one. I need something dark. I think that's going to work. So now it's time for our pumpkins. Now, even though the pumpkins are round, I am going to use kind of an up and down curved stroke to fill them in. Don't do your scribble scrabble. We're just going to color those in very quickly. Notice how I'm just doing that one because I want it to be kind of going around. I'm going to use that contouring. Contouring. I don't like how that line turned out on that one. I might redo this one. Okay, not a perfect color. See, that was a really quick color. I wanted to bring that one in. Next up, I'm going to come not on the center one. I'm going to skip one over. I'm going to do a little darkness. See how I'm shading it? I'm going to shade kind of right next to it there. A little darkness coming over. Got a little bit here. Going to do one more in here. Kind of do the same thing over here. Okay, a little bit of light is going to be on that front part. Going to add a little bit in here. Okay, so I've got those in. I'm going to bring one more of our darker colors. Bringing that in a little darker. Just one more, a little bit darker. And then here is what I love to do. Sometimes I'll do a little bit, if you need a little lighter, you can bring a little bit of yellow onto it. Remember, just stay with all your warm colors. Then I am going to take, this is my speedy one, I'm going to take it and I'm applying a great deal of pressure. And actually, I'm going to pop it, I use a newspaper underneath it, and that actually lets you get a nice, smooth. See how we've got that value coming in here, dark and light value, and with the different colors. All right, so you can see here, now we're starting to, starts to look more like a sphere. And I know this might be your first time to try to draw this. Well, you know, stop, practice your drawing, several times. You might draw 100 pumpkins before you actually get down to coloring one. I wanted to give you the full effect here. There we go. Oh, look, nicely done. I am going to take a green on top of that pencil. And see, that's really a bright green, but it turned kind of dark there. Now the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put just a brown underneath it to the side of my work. And I'm going to take one of these are my background crayons. It's just a crayon that I peeled it off, broke it off. One edge is sharp, one edge is kind of rounded. I'm going to take that squared off edge. I'm going to place it right around it. Then I'm going to take my finger here and I'm going to press down right at the edge. See how it kind of goes around, but I'm going to see what happens when you push down right on the edge of it. I'm going to work around and you get a little, it's a gradient. You work with that. I do a lot of gradients when I'm working on my digital stuff. But there's a gradient. You can actually create your own gradients just using that Crayola. Look at that, nicely done. So I'm going to just leave it that way. I'm really liking it. I am going to do just kind of a simple sky. I'm going to fill in the sky same way. And remember, if this were part of your scarecrow, you could use these same techniques. So again, I've got the end that kind of is jagged, pointed toward the objects. I'm going to come around again. See how I'm going to just darken it just a little bit. And you're coming in from the sides. And by using the newspaper underneath, you can get a really nice gradient there. And then I'm going to take this same blue and I'm going to do a little, the shading is on the object. I'm going to do a little shadowing because we would have a little bit of shadowing underneath. And notice I'm not using a black. A lot of people think you have to use black. No, you don't. So I'm actually going to create this shadow down here. There we go, a little bit of a shadow. And I use the blue, the same blue that I used for my sky. All right, let me get my padding out. All right, now let's look. There they are, our pumpkins. And so you can see that that's a little tricky, but it is those contour lines, and then it is the shading when you come in and color them that actually has your pumpkins start to pop. All right, not pop, you know what I mean. It makes them look like they're three-dimensional. So there are your pumpkins. I hope that was helpful to you. Let me pop over here. Well, I want to thank you so much. And remember, practice those. If you want to be good at anything, you have to practice. Same goes true with drawing. So I encourage you, draw 100 pumpkins before you even color one. I bet you can. You don't have to have a big sheet of paper. You can have just your regular sheet of copy paper, get your pencils, and practice. Well, this is Roxanne Glauser here from the Whirly-Derb ArtSmart Studios, and I hope to see you again. Thank you so much. Happy drawing.